Hey everybody, Agents of Change. Thank you for joining us today. It's a very special day here in America anyway. For Americans are actually going to decide the future direction of our nation. It's going to be very interesting tonight, needless to say. We see Paulette. Paulette, good to see you. She's the one that sent us the email, right? Yeah. Yeah. Paulette, we received your email the other day, and you actually got to teach the kingdom in another church. Woohoo! Go, Paulette. We are so proud of you. I know how exciting that is. And so I pray God opens many more doors for you in your sphere of influence there in the Bahamas as you continue the work that Papa Miles started. Jay is on. Yes, Jay, good to see you. And Susan in Omaha. Yes, we are aware it's voting day. I hope everybody in America is voting. We have to make the voice of God amplified in our generation. This is very important. We must uphold the principles, the standards that God has laid out for us, and continue upholding them high for our generation and the next generation. This is what this election is all about. Bottom line. Okay, we have Miranda in Michigan. Hi, Miranda. Ada and the crew, everyone in New Jersey. Hey, you dangerous ladies up there. And we have Shannon in Philadelphia. Oh my goodness, all these key states are watching today. Philadelphia, Michigan, Jay's in Michigan. We have Ohio, Ella in Ohio. Oh my gosh, us in Florida. You guys, we are the deciding factor, our states on this election. We have Heidi. Hi, Heidi. We have Mira in South Carolina. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad you are here today. I don't take any of our sessions for granted. I am going to continue on our vision series today on dreaming big but building small. Because a lot of times we can be overwhelmed with our vision, as you should be. Vision should be overwhelming. And that's why it's important that all of us work on our vision, dream big, document it, but yet you start small. Everything God did started small. He sent our Savior to a manger, okay? So don't be overwhelmed. Vision is a process, and the process is more important than the vision itself because the process and what you learn through it sustains the vision at the end. All right, we have Alicia in Dallas, hey, and Anne in Georgia. Okay, guys, we have a good crew today. So again, I'm inviting you, it's not too late for those of you that are willing to put your time and energy into doing your homework on yourself. That's what this is all about, is our Agents of Change Symposium. It's coming up. We are going to start the new year off right, corporately coming together in regards to the larger vision, and we're going to mobilize you to influence the destiny nations by activating your purpose and your life vision. So we will have some form of helping you even refine and pinpoint it even more as that does happen through the process. But we are going to come together and we are going to learn from others that have implemented their vision and are walking in it because it looks different for everybody, but yet the principles are the same, okay? So this is very important. You still have time. You have to do courses 1 through 3. You have to submit your documented purpose and your life vision if you want to come to the symposium. These are for people who've already put in their time and energy on doing homework for themselves, that are dedicated to fulfilling their life vision in their lifetime and are ready to do it now, 2017. We cannot wait. Agents of Change initiate. You take action. You have faith. You go in. Okay, go in immediately. It doesn't matter. And one thing that I think is very important is that you have to be willing to stand for your convictions if you are going to be a true agent of change, because you are going against the systems. That's the bottom line. But this is not a popularity contest. All right, we're not trying to get people to like us. But when you stand for your convictions and the principles of God, they will respect you. And that is a key ingredient when it comes to being a true agent of change. All right, we have also in the house Dan from Virginia. Hi, Dan, good to see you.
We have Nancy from New Jersey on YouTube.
Oh, Nancy from New Jersey on YouTube. It's hard for me to see on the YouTube postings because all I can see is in the webinar jam chat space. What I'm going to continue after this vision session today, we have 3 more sessions for the rest of the year. And then we start our new year. All right, Ada is ready to go. She has her airline ticket booked, and she's working on her homework. Good. Now, you guys, this is homework on yourself. This isn't homework for, anything else but your own life. This is about you and how important you are in fulfilling the vision, the overall corporate vision and your individual vision for your life. This will affect your community. This will affect your family. This affects everything. Okay, your vision is bigger than your own personal and private life. All right, this is bigger than us. And you have to be willing to pay the price and sacrifice if you are going to accomplish something great for God. It's bigger than our private and personal world. So my goal for this session and the next 3 sessions is to help you guys overcome hindrances and obstacles that you have. Because by the time you come to Naples, when I see you guys, I want you to overcome these hurdles, these fears, these doubts, lack of discipline, these distractions you have in your life. I want you to pinpoint where your obstacle is and overcome it. All right, I'm not going to spend time helping you overcome your vision or the obstacles in your vision. We are going to get to work. We're going to hit the ground running. So again, I am vetting everybody before you come. You have to do your homework. You have to submit your purpose in your life vision. You have to be dedicated to fulfilling it. This isn't for, it reminds me of the military in America. We're looking for a few great men. Those that are willing to pay the price and are willing to sacrifice their private personal life for the bigger vision that God has for them. Now, everybody has a vision, but only few people are dedicated enough to actually fulfill it in their lives. So if this is you, it's not too late. You have another month till the registration deadline. Contact the office, but you have to do some reading. You have to do some homework. You have to do courses 1 through 3. Okay, so we are here to help you with yourself for your life vision. And again, when we come in January, we're going to hit the ground running. So today, we are going to discuss, I'm going to put the chart of the survey that you guys filled out. I'm going to put it up again so you can see majority of the hindrances people face. You have time limitations, lack of discipline, distractions, procrastination, indecisiveness, shortage of money, mindset and attitude, fear, lack of support, and opinions of others. Now, as far as I'm concerned, none of these are legitimate excuses. None of them. You just have to have the right mindset. And those of you that checked mindset and attitude is your problem, you know what it is. And you know what you have to do. So none of these are legitimate excuses to not fulfilling your vision in your lifetime. You have the power to overcome time limitations, but it's up to you. It's completely up to you. You have the power to overcome and become a disciplined person. You have the power to pinpoint the distractions in your life and eliminate them. You have the power to disregard procrastination and get up and do something. You have the power to make decisions. You have the power over your mindset and your attitude, and whether you believe it or not, you have power over your money and your resources. Because those of you that are saying you have a shortage of them, I disabled your excuse in the last 2 webinars. It's just your mindset. The resources are there. You just don't have eyes to see them. So that's not even an excuse. All all right? Fear, all right? That's almost 30% of people have a fear-based obstacle. You have to look fear in the face and operate in faith. Fear is the opposite of faith. You cannot progress or do anything in your vision without faith. It's impossible. Because again, the vision is bigger than you. And you must have faith to actually do it. In little steps and big steps, in each season of it, in each phase of it, you have to use your faith. It's required. There's no other way around it. So if you are hindered by fear, the only way to overcome that is to start using your faith and just step out and just do it. That's all you have to do. You have to have the right mentality. I'm going to do this. You know what? 2017, I'm going to go to that symposium. I'm going to do this. The other obstacle is lack of support. All right, let me just put it to you bluntly. Don't expect anybody to believe you. Don't expect anybody to support you. I mean, Jesus had to battle with his own disciples. They're like, we'll never let this happen, right? When he said he was going to die. That was the vision. And he told them, Satan, get behind me. So don't expect, because people will not believe you. Now, once they start seeing you going somewhere, people will start joining you. But on the onset, you will not have support. You will not have people to come around about you and cheer you on. You are going against the system. You are going against people's mentality. You are going against the status quo. That's what a true agent of change does. You face fear, you face lack of support right in the face, and you just go right through it. And the opinions of others, who cares? You cannot give a rip about what other people think. If you do, you will become paralyzed. You cannot be paralyzed. So a lot of these things are paralyzing people. Fear, lack of support, opinions of others. Listen, when you are facing God, what are you going to say? Oh, well, you know, my family didn't think I was able to do it. I mean, what are you going to say to God? What are you going to say to him? So let me tell you, as human beings, he has given you amazing abilities. You have creativity, you have initiative, you can innovate, you can use the little resources you have. Start with that, and you will not believe what God can do with that. I mean, I can give you so many examples. I think I did in the last few webinars about the widow woman, Moses at the Red Sea. God used whatever resources they had to get them started. It takes faith, but that's all you need. That's what it all comes down to, in essence. Now, vision is not for the weak of heart, and I'm going to remind you of two things that Jesus said. This is in red. You guys know I like putting what he said in red. He said, I've told you these things to prepare you for rough times ahead. They're going to throw you out of the meeting places. There will come a time when anyone who kills you will think he's doing God a favor. Okay, we are seeing that in our lifetime. They will do these things because they really never understood the Father. They don't have the right mentality. I've told you these things so that when the time comes and they start in on you, you be well warned and ready for them. So prepare for the naysayers. Prepare for the people that want to pull you down. And then he says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world, you will have many troubles, but take heart, I have overcome them all. Let me tell you something. Most of the time in the Bible, God did not agree with the majority. He was for the minority. So let me tell you right now, you will be in the minority if you are a true agent of change. I'll never forget when I was in Medellin, Colombia, and the Pope had just been elected. Okay, so this was a few years ago. I was there with Papa Miles. And he says, listen, I already know he doesn't stand for the things of God because the world loves him. Jesus said, listen, if you stand with me and you're for me, they will hate you. So I'm going to tell you right now, they will come in on you. They will hate you. They will reject you. They will talk about you. That Jesus told us these things would happen. Because if you stand for the principles of God, you stand for what is right, you're in right standing, and you let your voice be heard, somebody has to be a voice of God here on the earth. And it takes people that have what it takes. You have to be like a bulldog. This isn't for the weak, middle of the ground people who are like, I'm just going along and I'm just saved by grace and I'm not worthy. You know, this mentality that religious people have. Listen, you are worthy. He crowned you with glory. He crowned you with dominion and honor. So take what is yours, stand up, put your big boy pants on, and do what you were born to do. You cannot shrink back in the face of adversity. There is no compromise in the kingdom of God. You must do what your Constitution tells you to do and stand up for what it says. Now listen, we are coming at a time in this season in history where we are seeing evil is called good. So if you want to be a true agent of change, let me tell you right now, you will have to come against the majority. Do you have what it takes? Do you have what it takes to come against the majority? Now, if you want to be in a popularity club, you won't make it. Let me just tell you that right now. You have to know that you know that you know what the standards of God are, that He set for us to live in this life. And you have to be convicted by them, stand on them, and not shudder in the face of adversity. They will mock you. They will persecute you. Jesus was very clear. They will persecute you for my sake because you're in right standing. You will be persecuted for righteousness' sake. So you're not going to be persecuted, if you are in the majority because you're going along with what our culture's value systems are. You will be persecuted for being in right standing. You will be persecuted for standing up for righteousness, what is right in the eyes of God. And He set the standard and the bar here. And you have to know what it is, know what it means, and live it. And then not be afraid to voice your opinion when people ask you. Okay? So I am convinced that this is one of the criteria to becoming an agent of change. You cannot compromise. And you will not be liked, but they will respect you. I talked about this, I don't remember, it may have been a video conference call, where Dr. Miles says, listen, I don't like Osama bin Laden. I don't like what he stood for, but I respect the man because he lived by his convictions and he's willing to strap a bomb on himself for it, just like all the other people in that religion. So they are willing to live by their convictions, and they are off. We all know that. It's a very violent religion that they are standing for. So we have to have the same convictions, not their convictions, but you have to live by your own convictions. They are. Where's the voice of the people of God? Where's the true ecclesia? Listen, He said, the way is narrow. You have to, and only few find this narrow way. The majority, the road is broad and it leads to destruction. But those of you that are willing to stand up and pay the price to be persecuted, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going against the majority. It's a very narrow way. And He said, few find it. Boy, once I left Christianity and left religion behind, and then I came into understanding the kingdom and what it was to operate in, I go, oh my gosh, I get that scripture now. It really is a very narrow way. Oh my goodness. I mean, I get it. A lot of these scriptures are illuminated now that you understand how the government of God works. So, okay, now I'm going to get into the message that I have prepared. I wanted to talk to you today about the vitality of vision. That's what I call it, because the Bible is very clear. People perish for two reasons. They perish for lack of knowledge, right? And no vision. So these are the two criteria that it takes to actually live life, have a testimony, to make an impact. You have to have some knowledge, light, right? Because we're living in a dark world, and you have to have a vision. If you do not have a vision, then you are not truly committed to life. If you do not have a vision, you have nothing to base your decisions on. You will waste your time. You have not a lot to show for your life as far as it pertains to doing something for God. You can have a desire to do something for God, but what it comes down to is you must document why you are here, your purpose, and how you are going to implement it. That's vision. So now let's talk about the vitality of vision. Vitality, that word means, is the capacity for survival or the continuance of a meaningful or purposeful existence. This is what vision has given me. And I know you, those of you that are walking out your vision, feel it too. I don't know what I was doing before I had vision. I mean, I was doing good stuff for God, don't get me wrong. I was doing things.
Just living life.
Just living life, and I was doing good things, but was I doing the right thing? And let me tell you something. Every year, you should always revert back to your vision. Every few months, making sure you're on the right track. Because it's very easy to go off into tangents and do good things. Remember, Jesus said, only a few things in life are necessary. Document what is necessary for you to live your life out in vision. So vitality is a continuation of meaningful and purposeful existence. It is my personal belief, if you are not living with vision, you are not living a purposeful existence. Vitality is the exuberant physical strength or mental vigor. That's what vision gives me. It's also, vitality is the power to live or grow. Man, I started living life rather than life living me. When I document my vision, I initiated portions of it. It has grown. It has gone to other stages. It's gotten bigger. I keep adding parts of it as I go along. It's been, I documented it to the end of 2010. Every year, I've built upon the vision, and it has grown. And I'm living life now. So vitality is the power to live or grow. So that's why I call it the vitality of vision. It gives you life. And Jesus said, if you don't have vision, God said, if you don't have vision, then you'll perish, right? That's what he says. So in other words, you're going nowhere and doing nothing of substance without living out your vision. It helps us focus on the right things in life and eliminates wasting time and energy and resources on merely good things. And therefore, you can be more productive with maximized results when you are living out your vision. Listen, if you have not implemented or initiated portions of your vision yet, life is boring. I would have to get high on something else in life. So I get why people want to get high. I get why people want to check out. I get why people want to go numb for a little bit because they haven't found life yet. Vision gives you life. Add knowledge to it. Man, it's the perfect scenario. Because let me tell you something. When you get knowledge, you can't help but do something with it. You can't help but share it. Vision is, how are you going to share it? How are you going to tell your story? There's many different ways to give testimony. So life without vision, in essence, you are forced to live by what you see and what you hear. You were never designed or created by God to live by sight. You were never designed to live by your senses. Never. You are designed to live by discernment with the Holy Spirit, period. If you do not have vision, you will be forced to live by what you see and what you hear. And that's the only thing you'll have to make decisions off of. And let me tell you something. Things change. Facts change. That's why you cannot make decisions on what you see and what you hear because you're making it on facts. Facts change. You have to make decisions by discernment for the long-term vision that you have documented. That's life. And I think that's why so many people as I've read in your responses to the survey we did, you got burned. You tried something one way, you did this, and I'm not sure, I'm hesitant. I really don't know if I should proceed because I got burned before, I failed, and all these things. So that's why it's so important that you live by vision. I don't know who these people are, which ones filled out this survey. So I don't know your specific scenario, your situation, and what you based your decisions on. But most likely it was facts. Most likely you didn't have somebody to advise you, somebody that's been there before, a good mentor that understood the long-term vision for your life. It's so important to be submitted to a mentor. It's so important to have community, to surround yourself with the right people. Initially, I did not have that. I had to form my own community, and it took a little time, but it happened organically. As people hear the message, they will come and they'll say, I want to learn more. Teach me more. Help me understand these things. Without a life vision, you will always be reactive rather than productive. We cannot afford, at this time in history, to react to the changes that are happening all around us. That's why agents of change are proactive and productive. We know what God wants on the earth. We have our vision documented. That's what we make decisions on. If you do not have a vision, you are at the whim of society. You are at the whim of your circumstances. That is not a good place to be. I would be depressed. I would probably turn to the bottle. I'd probably check out on some weed, like majority of people do, because they are being conformed to the circumstances that they find themselves in. Life without vision, you easily become conformed to the flow of culture rather than doing something about it based on your life assignment. So we cannot sit by and let change happen to us. That's wasting life, wasting your resources. You're just going to be the majority, leads to destruction. We must make changes in society based on our life assignment and the vision that we've documented. So what you have to do as an agent of change, and this is what I did in my personal life and with our community here. I determined and documented my life assignment. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two, you initiate it, whatever level you are at, wherever you are, whatever stage you're at, initiate something. Okay, whether that means purchasing a book and reading it regarding the direction of your life vision. If you want to get credibility as a public speaker, then sign up for Toastmasters. Study books that talk about how to do PowerPoints to get people's attention and change the world. Whatever it is, you have to research and develop your own skill. That's very important. Everyone has a gift, but when you develop it and refine it, now it becomes a skill. And God can use that for His glory as you walk out your life vision. So what is the message you are passionate about conveying? Through what medium do you want to convey your message? Now, this is in regards to your area of discipline, your area of influence, which is very important to know what area you're called to influence. I know some people that watch, they have daycares, or, you can convey your message subtly through the skills of influence in your daycare. You can do it as some of our team members are when it comes to a classroom setting in the education system. They're actually now working on getting credibility so they can move up and have more influence in that system. If your area of influence is business, how can you be influential in business? Perhaps you need to get on certain boards that are working towards your passion, something you're very passionate about. Perhaps your message can be conveyed through a media. So you need to tailor your message to your audience, okay? So when you're researching, when you're thinking, when you're developing, you are going to be influencing somebody somewhere. And you always need to think, okay, how can I tailor my testimony, my story, my message in my area of influence? What does this look like? I've already done the seminars on how to influence in the marketplace. I'm not sure if I did a webinar on that one. I didn't. All right, then you need to get the last Kingdom Training Seminar. If you were not there, you can probably order it on my website. If you go to my website, it's on there. Watch how to influence in the marketplace. Okay, these are skills. But then again, these are sessions in my School of Influence, how to influence in the marketplace. So here's what it comes down to. At this point in history, it is you are an answer to the world. You are God's solution to our generation in some area. You must act as a catalyst for change. Now, a lot of times we think, oh my gosh, what can I do on a big scale? No, listen, this will happen organically when you initiate your vision. So this is all God has to work with, is you. Those that are dedicated to fulfilling their life vision and amplifying the voice of God in our generation. That's all he has to work with, is us. The remnant, whatever you want to call it, the ecclesia is what I prefer to call it. Those that are willing to pay the price and to go the narrow route and are willing to be persecuted. And what I have found is once you initiate your vision, you become a threat. You become a threat to the kingdom of darkness, and you become a threat to the culture that is counter to the principles of God. So here's the qualities of a change agent. You must have the right mentality. This is why it is so important that you listen to the webinars. This is my only overall theme for all the webinars that I'm doing. I'm working on your mentality. I had to work on mine. I'm still working on my mentality. We will never stop doing that. That is why I did the School of Influence. I can't mentor everybody in an efficient way. So I did the School of Influence for you guys. It's not for me. This is for you. Working on your mentality. If you want to be a true agent of change, you must start with the right mindset. The original mindset that God gave Adam and that Jesus operated in. Another quality to be a true agent of change. You must be patient, go through the process, but yet be persistent. The vision is a process, but you must initiate the process. You must go through each season. A lot of times the seasons aren't as fun as we want them to be. Seasons are challenging, right? You have tough decisions to make. You must be knowledgeable and lead by example. You have to know what's going on. You have to know current affairs. You have to know the opinions and mindset of other people. It's very important. You must be proactive. A true agent of change initiates change. They initiate their vision. They aren't afraid. They don't cower. And finally, a true agent of change is dedicated. You can't just have a mere passing interest in doing something. You have to be dedicated and serious. When you are, that gets God's attention. When you come to the place where you say, there's nothing else, this is what I live for, my vision, this is it. Your vision is actually you living out your purpose. You've activated your purpose and you're living it out. When you come to the point where like, this is it, this is all I have, this is what I live for, you are dedicated. Dedication is when you live on and off your vision. And now I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. This is very important, some things that I've learned along the way. God will never give you what he doesn't prepare you to manage. So you must manage every season of your vision. Garner and gain and learn everything out of each phase of the vision. For the process is so important, for it prepares you for what God has prepared for you. Most of the time, the process is for the transformation of your own thinking. A lot of times we want to run and jump to the end result of the vision, right? The big thing we see at the end, this big dream, this big thing we've documented. But the process is to transform you and prepare you, transform your mindset so that your thinking is right, that you will be a person of character and integrity. Listen, we're so different now because people now just wink. If people lack integrity or lack character, they just pass it off now. I'm like, this is crazy. So if you stand up for what is right, you will automatically make a difference because dark and light are so polar opposite. The light shines. When the light shines, darkness has to flee. When people are illuminated by the truth, darkness has to flee. When people stand for character and operate in integrity, people will respect you, even if they don't agree with you. Okay? So mental freedom, which happens along the process of you implementing your vision, is more important than physically where you are. This is so important. Remember, God could not even take the Israelites into the promised land because the mentality was not right. So listen, every season that you're going through for your vision is to prepare you mentally for the full weight of the vision. So understand, if you want to fulfill your vision, you have to have the right thinking. The Israelites did not. So God had to wait for them to die in the desert. And he used their children because they had different thinking. They did not have a slave mentality. Completely different thinking. That's why, remember when the spies were sent into the promised land? Only 2 people survived, Joshua and Caleb. Because God said, if you go look in the scriptures, he says they had the right spirit. And if you look, it's a small s, not capital S, not Holy Spirit. They had the right mentality. They had the right attitude. Man, we can go in and take the land. We can go in and fulfill our vision. We can go make a difference for God. We can be a true agent of change. That's what God's looking for. If you don't have that mentality, he can't use you. He can't do anything with you. So this is so important that your mentality is right. That's all I'm working on in the School of Influence and on these webinar series. So that when we come together in January, you got it. You are confident you can do what you were born to do. You may not see everything is in place yet, but that's okay because you know it will be when you need it. You may not think you are qualified, but trust me, you are. Now I'm going to tell you again, and I think I talked about this in the past, you must have a belief in yourself. I can do this. I have what it takes. I was born to do this. I may not think like I may think this is crazy. What am I doing? But I know, listen, this is what I was born to do, so I know God put everything in me that is needed. But you just have to change your mentality to think that way. Anything that comes against you, I will figure out a way to get through that. I will figure out how to make it happen regardless. You have to have a bulldog mentality. So here I'm going to quote Benjamin Franklin. We're going to go into another subject because this is the only way that you can operate by faith is by preparing for what God has for you. But if you fail to prepare for the vision, then you're preparing to fail. This goes in every area of life. So you must prepare for the vision. Alexander Graham Bell, he said, preparation is the key to success. If you want to succeed in your vision, you have to prepare for it. That takes faith. Success in your vision occurs when opportunity meets preparation. A lot of times we sit and we think, oh, if it's God's will, it will happen. Oh, I know it will happen. Listen, he is waiting on you. We have to stop waiting on God. He's been waiting on you your whole life. He's like, I'm waiting to see if they're dedicated. And if you truly are, you will start preparing for the vision. And that only happens by faith. So success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. Are you prepared for the door that God opens when he opens it for you? If not, the opportunity will pass you by. What we are preparing for in the community here locally, there is not a demand for in the physical for it when I started it years ago. But trust me, once it's done, the demand will be there. I know it. But people are waiting for us to fulfill our project, to complete our project. When it's completed, trust me, many opportunities will open. And we will have things ready to present, and this is how we do it. Game on. And of course, my favorite man, our dear Papa Miles, he said, preparation is the highest act of faith. So until God sees you starting to prepare, he is not impressed with anything. Remember, it says it's impossible to please God without faith. You have faith in your vision? Let me see how much faith you have. What have you done to work towards it? What are you doing? That'll let me know if you really believe in your vision or not. That's the key element in truly acting out your vision, is preparing for it. You don't wait until the opportunity. If you wait till the opportunity arrives, then it will pass you by because you're not ready for it. You're not prepared. You know, my cousin went to the Olympics in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. She's been preparing most of her adult life. She's maybe 28, 29 now. She's been preparing since high school, or actually in high school on the volleyball team. So she's been preparing for 15 years, and she finally made it to the Olympics. You can't just on a whim say, oh, I'm going to do this and expect it to happen. We act like we're spoiled brats sometimes. I don't get it. We have to do our part. So preparation is proof of belief in your vision, proof of belief in yourself. So you prepare yourself for the vision and educate yourself in yourself for what God's called you to do. Now, listen, I'm going to warn you right now. Sometimes preparation is simply changing your friends, being the first step. Oops, I did the wrong screen. This is causing me to work. Sometimes the first initial preparation is changing your friends, because the associations do determine your vision, your destination, and the destiny. Eagles don't flock. We know they fly high and alone. They're lonely because of location. They're high out front, up. They have a bird's eye view of everything. Pigeons love to flock. They gossip, they fly low, they all come together. Pessimists don't change the world. So when my circle got smaller, my vision got clearer. This is one of the key ways to prepare for the vision. This lets you know if you're really ready to go and initiate the first phase of it. You're going to have to eliminate some associations. I'm not saying eliminate them completely from your life. Just eliminate how much you communicate with them. Because what everybody says to you, they're planting seeds. So you have to be careful what you share with people and what you hear. Remember we talked, well, last week I did a video conference call. We talked about the gateway to your mentality, the gateway to life is what you hear, what you see. That's why Jesus said in the Old Testament, guard your heart, which means mind, right? Hebrew. In the Old Testament, when it says heart, it means mind. Guard your mind, for out of it flows the issues of life. How do you guard your mind? What you hear. So if you're hearing negative, if you're hearing, gutter talk, gossip, that's all you do, then that's where your life will be sustained by. So guard your heart, guard your mind, by what you hear, what you see. You're going to have to change some things if you want to go somewhere and do something for life. If not, then you will stay where you're at, with the people you're at, and not accomplish much, just like them. So leaders don't wait. Telling you, agents of change initiate their vision. They initiate change. They are willing to take risks. Yes, you will have to take some risks. That's where faith comes in. If you weren't taking risks, you wouldn't need faith. So you must be bold, and you must not be afraid of your own fear. An agent of change ignores their fear. God told Joshua, be courageous. Don't wait for courage to come. A lot of people wait for things. You have to understand the seasons you're in. Do what you can with what you have, and then let God do his part. It's a partnership. We are his workmanship. He created you and crafted you precisely according to the good works he has prepared you to do. And if you don't fulfill your vision, you malfunction. Remember, where a purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. You will abuse your life. You will abuse your time. You will abuse other people's time because you're wasting it. So God created you and formed you, put you in a certain environment, knew what year you would be born, knew the location you were born, and put you in the environment to create you for what he wants you to be and how he wants you to impart. He wanted me to grow up in a shack, or be born in the shack, and then grow up in the trailer park. So because of that, my paradigm is a little bit different in life. All right? I grew up on the other side of the tracks. If I grew up on, it kind of reminds me of the Beverly Hillbillies. I was thinking about this. You know, the Beverly Hillbillies, they struck oil and then they moved to Beverly Hills and they still lived like hillbillies, but they were in a mansion. So don't despise where you came from. Don't despise small beginnings. God will use everything in your life for the vision. He will use everything in your life, whether it's bad, good, ugly, whatever it is, to give testimony to the kingdom is alive here on earth. All right, we have 12 minutes left. I want to finish on a few things here. In regards to having the right mentality, I want to remind you, because I came from religion, and we put so much emphasis in religion on being led by the Spirit. Okay, yes, that is a factor in the ingredients of walking out your vision. It's a very important factor, but we cannot negate the first thing God gave you is the most important thing: his image, his likeness, your brain, the ability to think, the ability to create, the ability to innovate. Image is the capacity to think like God. Never negate that. So use your brain in tandem with the Holy Spirit. 90% of success of your vision is in your head. 10% of it is in your hands. But you must have eyes to see. And I like this quote by Einstein, because he says, education is not the learning of facts. It's rather the training of the mind to think. As agents of change, at this point in history, it's very important we have the right mentality. We have the thinking of the original truth and how Jesus operated as well. He modeled it for us because we were so far removed from the original mindset that God gave Adam, the original thinking. He came back and he says, I am the first Adam. This is how you think. This is how you have dominion. And he operated on this level that was so foreign to us because we lost it for 4,000 years beforehand. And now Jesus came back and he says, this is what it looks like. The kingdom is at hand. Change your thinking. So you have the ability to have the proper thinking and the proper mentality. It's so important. So you can know facts, you can know principles, but you have to think with them. That's where wisdom comes in. You have to have understanding of knowledge. So that's why we're training you how to think, how to operate in faith, how to just go through any challenge. You should get excited by a challenge. Because then you have to put your thinking cap on and how can I figure this out, right? I personally like challenges because I don't know, they just make me come alive. Now, I don't always enjoy them, like, oh my gosh, here comes another one, but it's okay. I just lay in bed at night, all right, how can I do this just in a different way or get around this to do this? I still make this happen because I know what it's God's called me to do, but it was blocked in this area, but I can still figure it out. How are we going to do this, God? Okay, and I'm always thinking, talking to God, all right, what are we going to do? How does this look? Because a lot of times when you're blocked in one area, that's him, sometimes, not all the time, but at times. And there's a different way he wants you to implement what you're supposed to do in that season. And that's where discernment comes in. And using your brain at the same time. All right, now I'm going to throw this into you guys, or throw this in as my 2 cents. I read blogs sometimes when it comes to having children, raising them, things like this. So I'm going to show you this quote of what I learned this week. And I said, oh my gosh, this is the exact same way God is with us. Let me put this out here for you. This quote says, this child psychologist said, parents try to make it better for their children all the time to make them happy all the time. But that's not realistic. Don't always jump in and try to fix it. Children need to learn to tolerate some distress, some unhappiness. Let them struggle and figure out things on their own because it allows them to learn how to cope. And this what drives me nuts is we think God is supposed to come down and swoop down and fix everything all the time. That is not realistic. And you know what that has created? We have created Santa Claus in the sky. We think God is Santa Claus. Harold Kushner said, we believe that prayer means making a list of everything you don't have, but you want, and trying to persuade God you deserve it. Now, I'm sorry, that's not God. That's Santa Claus. All right, are you guys still out there? Because I'm not getting a lot of feedback on these chats. Did some of you tune out? We confuse God for Santa Claus. So when things don't go our way, we get frustrated, all right? He has given you his image. His image is the capacity to think like him. That's how you hear from God. He thinks through you. So if your heart is right, your thinking is right. That's how you know the will of God. Okay, good. Some of you are still here. My boy in Detroit and my girl in Bahamas. They're still hanging in. Okay, Ada too. Ada's there. The New Jersey girls. I knew you would be. New Jersey's girls are top. And Jacob in Texas. Okay, good. So don't expect God to swoop down and always fix everything for you. Each accomplishment that one experiences brings you confidence and satisfaction in your achievement. That's why challenges are so good for us. They refine you like gold, right? We know about the tempering process. So every time you're in each phase of your vision, you're going to experience challenges, hurdles to overcome, okay? Most of them you can overcome yourself, like this, these distractions, fear, it's okay. But some of them, man, when you overcome them, you then get confidence and you get satisfaction in your achievement. That prepares you for the next challenge, because I promise you this, the next challenge will be greater than your last one. God's preparing you. So difficult and frustrating experiences help build the reservoir in your inner strength. And that leads to happiness. A lot of times we think having no problems and no challenges in life leads to happiness. But when you overcome them, remember Jesus said you can have many problems, many troubles, but don't worry, I've overcome them all. So with him, he's giving us the capacity to overcome them. He'll give us wisdom, right? You know some things, you have some knowledge, you have your vision. You will have and garner inner strength when you overcome each stage of them. And it's preparing you for the next big, frustrating challenge you will have. So the outcome of the challenges is you will get better at dealing with adversity, simply by grappling with it successfully again and again. Okay? So yes, you're going to have hindrances. It's interesting. I got 2 pages of people that were able to overcome them and 2 pages of people who were not and are still working through them. And that's okay. We're all at different levels. Some said, I didn't even know I had a life vision or as I was supposed to have one. I know. I didn't either. Religion never taught me that. I knew I perished without one, but they didn't tell me how to do one or how important it was. If you're going to do anything for God, man, you got to know what it is you're going to do. It's that simple. So God is preparing you through these challenges, through these obstacles, for the thing He's prepared for you. So don't give up. Never give up. True agents of change, that is not an option. You don't even say those words. You don't even think about giving up. That should never even cross your mind, giving up or looking back. Jesus was very clear. Anybody who puts their hand to the plow, looks back, is not fit. That word fit He used means you are no good to me. I cannot use you. You are not fit for the kingdom of God. Man, this takes people that are willing to take the bullet, pay the price, and make things happen. He says, if you put your hand on that plow and you think, look back, glance back, anything, He says, I can't even use you. So listen, never look back. Never give up. That is not an option. You must have the mentality where that doesn't even cross your mind. You would never give up, because if you were, you're giving up on yourself and on your own life. All right, we're winding down to the end here. You guys still with me? All right, some of you are good. You guys hanging into the end. Proud of you. Now, I found this very interesting. This was in the same blog I read when it comes in regards to children. And I said, this applies to us too, in our relationship to God, being in the kingdom. They said, this is a prescription for lifelong happiness. This I found was very interesting. Happy people are those who have mastered a skill. They learn persistence and discipline, and they experience the joy of succeeding due to his own efforts. Okay? They become persistent. They don't give up. They don't look back. They become disciplined. And they experience the joy of succeeding through your own efforts. Yes, I know it's God through me and all this stuff. But listen, He needs your body. He needs you to have the right mindset. He is not like a master puppet manipulator up there going like, like a robot. You are not a robot. He needs you. That's why He's like, the kingdom's come, change your mentality. He can't do it if you don't have the right mentality. You have to have the right thinking. A prescription for lifelong happiness. Let me put this back up here for you. They reap the reward of gaining recognition from others for their accomplishment. And remember, this is what the disciples were doing with Jesus all the time. Who's the greatest, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be great, because greatness is in your DNA. Because you come from God. God is great. You have the same, characteristics of God, just to a lesser degree. So you should gain recognition. People are like, oh man, that's a really good skill. Oh, you can really accomplish that. So it gives you a feeling of control through mastery is an important factor in determining adult happiness. Okay. I'll give you an example. Even me doing a webinar, I'm operating my gift. It makes me happy. I love doing what I do. It's my passion. I love teaching. I can't help myself. If I didn't have you guys to teach to, I'd find somebody somewhere that wanted to know this stuff, and I'd be teaching to them. You just can't help yourself when you found your passion. So it gives you a sense of control because you're operating in your gift. You can control your gift. You can decide to use it, and you can decide in which manner to use it, in which medium, in which sphere of influence. You can decide so many things. And then finally, the last point I want you to see here about the prescription for lifelong happiness is children, like adults, need to follow their own interests, or there will be no joy in their success. All right, I rest my case. You guys understand purpose, you know that's exactly what it's talking about. Master your gift and develop it into a skill. It truly is fulfilling. There is so much fulfillment when you are operating in your purpose. You don't need to get high on outside substances in life because you have, it's what I call an internal combustible engine. You don't need external fuel or energy, or you don't need to escape anything like that. You have internal fuel that gives you, it's your passion fueled up, and you just can't help yourself. Uh-oh, it keeps freezing. I hope that's on your end. I hope this isn't on my end. Okay. So the joy of God's plan, and I'm going to finish it here. We're almost out of time. The joy of God's plan for personal and corporate vision is that nothing we are born to do is to be done by ourselves or for ourselves. Now that's key. That's why community is very important. That's why a lot of you came to the retreat this summer. That's why a lot of you are coming in January. So corporate vision is not meant to give you vision, but to stir it up. That's all I am doing here. I don't ever tell anybody what to do, when to do it, anything. I'll give you my opinion, my advice, only if you ask. So let me tell you something. If you come to me, it's okay to ask my opinion. But, I get, and Dr. Miles had the same issue because he told us this, 2013, the last Global Leadership Summit he did. He says, a lot of my mentees, sometimes they come to me and they tell me what they're going to do. And he says, get counsel, get advice. That's what mentors are for. And I went to him that night, I was on a panel with him. I was sitting next to him, and I said, Papa, I have this idea I've been going around in my mind. If I can just have 2 minutes of your time, I want to run it by you and get your advice, get your opinion. He said, absolutely yes. And we met later on, and I told him what I saw. It had to do with the vision. So be wise in that respect, okay? Dreams always stir up other dreams. That is why we are coming together. This is very important. Let me tell you something. It's very important to get out of your own environment, to get into a new environment so you can think clearer, see clearer, hear clearer regarding your vision. And then coming together corporately, it's powerful. So we must initiate change. We must be proactive. Doing nothing is not an option. You must get active in life, in whatever area you were born to change. Don't wait for change to change you. You change. And as Dr. Miles said, the world cannot heal itself, for it created the problems. Now we must be problem solvers. That's what you are. You were born to solve a problem. Your purpose is discovering which problem it is you were born to solve. You are an answer to a problem in this world. You just have to figure out which one it is. And it's usually staring at you right in the face the whole entire time. So we must never allow waiting to become a habit. Live your dreams and take risks. Life is happening now. We cannot wait. For if we wait until we're ready, we'll always be waiting for the rest of our lives. Now is all you have. Mic drop. So never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And I'm quoting Margaret Mead. And I leave you with this. History shows us that people who end up changing the world are always nuts until they are right. and then they are geniuses. So live beyond what your generation sees now. Be an answer to it. A lot of times people don't understand these little things you're called to do become great things. They're ripple effects. That's what Mother Teresa said. She says she only started out doing this other little thing, and then it became a ripple effect. That's exactly how vision works. You think, oh, I'm not significant. My vision's not significant. I just have a daycare. Man, you don't know that. You don't know how influential you can be to a little child. And in 10 years, who they become. So it's very important. Never belittle yourself. Never belittle your vision. That's exactly what the enemy wants you to do. You are great. Greatness is in you. But we need you to show us what you're made of. Who are you? If you don't know who you are, we're never going to see who you are. So if you know who you are and you know what you were born to do, I hope I see you in January. I hope you can be part of something bigger than yourself. This is so important. So I end today. I appreciate you guys. I hope you got something out of this. We only have 3 more webinars until I see you face to face. I want to see the whites of your eyes. I want to hear what you were born to do. I want to see you operating in it. Nothing gives me more joy than seeing people operate in their gifting, mastering it to become a skill. Okay, we do have a question here. Miranda says, I need your opinion. How did you form community in the beginning when you were just starting out? Just community and have no one who here who is seeing it like we are. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Listen, mine started when my neighbor asked me a question outside in the parking lot when we happened to pull up one evening. We were both coming home after work at the same time. Melissa said, Trista, I'm not sure I'm praying right. How do you pray? How are you supposed to pray? And I said, oh, that's a good question. I spent 3 hours with her in my living room teaching her how to pray. So it started with somebody asking me a question. And then after she asked me that question, after that time with her, I go, you know what? I bet other people want to know how to pray. I was just learning. It was the first year. I was just learning about the kingdom. I had just read Papa's book on prayer. Let me tell you something else. I find this happening all the time. If you come across something that God's putting in your path, it's just very subtle. This always happens to me, but it's so subtle, you probably don't even realize it. But I happen to recognize it. I'll read a book on prayer, I'll read a book, or I'll read an excerpt, a chapter in a book, or something on my Kindle, or I'll listen to a snippet of a CD in my car, Papa Miles, something, or I'm studying something, and it's fascinating how many people come across my path right afterwards and ask me regarding what I just read about or learned about. So it's very important you get as much understanding as you can, as much knowledge as you can, because usually it's God saying, okay, I'm setting you up to help somebody. And he knows who these people are. He knows when they're coming across your path. So you have to do the research. You have to study. You have to read these books. You know, these books are so marked up and highlighted and referenced, and I put my tabs in here and my notes. A lot of times, this is what I did. My notes on the faith book, I wrote down things that really stuck out to me. Yes, Papa signed it too. I love it. Oh, I miss him so much. I make notes. He talked about the celestial Santa Claus on page 41. So study to show yourself approved unto man and unto God. You have to study. Don't expect to be spoon-fed. Those days of being spoon-fed are over. Those days of milk are over. Listen, Shiloh's going to be weaned soon. She's only been getting a certain amount of milk for a certain period of time because she's going to be a toddler soon. All right? 3 more months, she's going to be a baby. Then we go into a season where she's getting chunkier food, textured food, bigger food. All right? Don't stay a baby. All right? Don't expect to be spoon-fed. I am already teaching her how to feed herself for herself. This is so important. Yes, there's a time and a season you're babying, you're spoon fed. But listen, I don't spoon feed anybody. Nobody in my community, nobody anymore. In the beginning, I did. Now, if you have a question or something, I mostly make people go find the answers for themselves. Because nothing's yours till you discover it. I'm not the guru and have all the answers to everything anyway. I know some things, and I'll help you with some things that I do know, but you have to learn for yourself. Okay, so back to the community question. If it's just you and your husband, sometimes a coworker will have a question, sometimes somebody in your community, sometimes a dry cleaner, sometimes a housekeeper, whoever it is, whatever it is, you say, oh, come to dinner and have them over for dinner, somebody asks you a question. You don't even have to start out saying I'm doing a Bible study. But that's how I did start it out. I let ladies that I knew, I said, I'm going to start a Bible study at my house every other Thursday night. So it was only twice a month. So it wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot of burden on me or anybody else. And it started out with 6 or 7 people. Then it grew to about a dozen. And then the ladies wanted to invite their husbands. So I had to take it outside of my home because my home was very small at the time. And we started doing it at another resource I happen to have, the hotel meeting room. We started doing meetings there, still every other Thursday night. So it just happened organically, and it happened when people had a need for it. It happened when people asked me questions. It happened when there's a demand for it, and it happened organically, okay? So make yourself available to others because people are watching you. Live your life. They'll come to you, and they'll start asking you questions. When they start asking you questions, say, listen, invite them for dinner. Go take them to a restaurant with you and your husband and just become their friends, okay? You'll see a community starting. Because trust me, the harvest is ripe. They are ripe. They are just looking for people who live what they say. So that's so important. All right, Jersey girls, looking forward to meeting you guys too. Yes, we've heard so much about what you're doing. Doreen from the UK. Dan, we appreciate you too. I hope to see you in Naples. Miranda, okay, that makes sense. I spend at least 5 hours a day listening to you and Miles. I've been unlearning and relearning. Thank you. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. Miranda says, did you transition out of church into mentoring others? Did you transition out of church into mentoring others? Yes. That's a whole nother story. Maybe we can get into that next time. Okay, ask that question next time and I'll answer it earlier in the webinar. Okay, Miranda? I promise you that. I will get to that. But thank you guys. It's 1:13. We're going to shut down. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll see some of you in person, can give you a big hug in January. We will start off 2017 right. Come together as a community, come together as agents of change, bring your vision, know your purpose, and we are going to make it happen. And I will see you guys at the top. Bye.